Teenage rom-coms like 16 Candles and She's All That, Clueless, usually end with two protagonists finally ending up together. But what happens after that moment, or better yet, 30 years later?
The bumps and bruises that real life and real relationships take don't often make it in those movies, but one pair of high school sweethearts, well, they're not afraid to tackle those tough issues.
Joining us now today to talk about their new podcast, It Ain't Personal, It's Spiritual, are the co-hosts India and Briggs Stearns. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Look fantastic. Somebody smells really good.
Your smiles are so sparkly.
Thank you.
Husband and wife duo, and I know that you are going to share with us hopefully the short version of how you met, basically. That's got to be a great story right there.
You said hopefully short version because we're going back and forth to see who's going to be the one to do it.
Short version is usually me.
So you want to go?
I'll let you have it. Go ahead.
Okay, well, we met, we're 16 years old. It's the NAACP AXO competition where you compete up to 3 categories out of 30. I won in playwriting and oratory. He won in musical composition, of which he did not want to be there. He thought it was a place where only nerds went, and he was too cool for that. So his superstar music teacher was like, "You're gonna come, you're gonna be here," and we met. And
Where was it? Where was the conference?
it was in Fort Worth,
Okay.
where we were born and raised in Fort Worth, Texas. And all the first place winners go to nationals. And during that time, you hone your craft and connect. And so during that 3 months, it was just kind of like, he's kind of smart. I kind of like him. He's kind of cute. He thought I talked too much, but
I have no comment on that. Okay.
That's a good man. Now, you're starting this new adventure together, and it's all based on how you started and the journey. How long have you been married now?
24 years in September.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
All right.
And together, all together, what, 32?
Something like that.
32
Yep.
years
32
together.
years.
So we've been together longer than we've been apart.
Yeah.
So what is this podcast about? Tell us about the details. What do we get into in this thing?
Well, I find sometimes that we tend to like separate kind of the sacred and the secular as opposed to kind of like living our lives and our everyday experiences through our faith. So we kind of just look at different areas and different things that we're going through relationally, with children, work, jobs. So it's for
Just
singles
life.
to life in general, and say, okay, what does that look like if we actually live it through a lens of, you know, faith and spirituality and seeing
And
it-
what God says versus what we make up as we go along.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we all do that, right?
Yep.
We have those moments where we're like, you know what, this seems right. And then you go back, you're like, okay, that's probably not I probably should have talked to God, or kind of saw like, what is it what was the design for this?
You do that?
You know what? We are on live TV. Don't
I forgot. So really, we're seeking God's design for
Right.
every area of our lives. So
Let's hear the name one more time, and then tell us the story behind that name.
the name is It Ain't Personal, It's Spiritual. I was actually counseling a couple once, and as I'm talking to them, and I'm like, why are you guys taking everything so personally, but you're not taking it from like a spiritual perspective of what's really going on here? And I was like, wait a minute, I guess we all do that in some way or another. And I talked to her and I was like, I got this kind of idea, but I don't know what to do with it. She's been asking me to do a podcast forever. And I was like, no way, Jose,
This is a miracle. He doesn't like to take pictures, let alone be on a podcast.
Well, it's not visual, at least. But even though
Well,
you both look
we actually are going to be visual.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, then he's really stepping out of
Oh,
his
he
comfort
is.
zone.
Let me tell you, it's a miracle.
I just don't want to sleep on the couch.
Well, listen, you mentioned counseling. Counseling in what capacity? I'm just
I
curious.
was a marriage and family therapist for
Okay.
a while, and then I kind of reared it to do more just Christian counseling and wellness counseling with couples, individuals. So
And it seems like a natural leap then to do a podcast, right? I mean,
Yeah,
tell us
it
about how it
is.
came to be in
He
this
is
discussion.
amazing. You know, a lot of times, you know, we both we'll be counseling couples or just walking alongside friends, family, and people would always say, "Wow, you know, like, wish more people could see this," right? Even the producer of the podcast was encouraging you too.
yeah, because I think sometimes people won't come to counseling. You know, they're like, that's too. And he was like, Brig, you have an opportunity to like share your gift with people who would never sit across from you. And I was like, okay, God, I get you. I'll take.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Well, you've been the one begging him to do the podcast, so we know a little bit more about his background. What part of your background led you to this?
I'm just his wife. No.
No.
No, you know what? I, for 20 plus years, have been in the television and film industry as an executive and studio executive and network executive. And in that space, you know, really trying to understand and grow in my faith, and also like, how do you toe that line, you know, between staying true to your beliefs, but also being able to do your job in an environment that sometimes is not so welcoming to your
Yes.
faith. And so taking those life experiences, as well as being a women's ministry leader, motivational speaker, bringing all those experiences to the podcast is amazing.
She's being modest. She's worked for probably every network you can name in some capacity or another. So she's being modest. But yeah.
But no, so you're just being in a high pressured environment, understanding what it's like for people who are like, but how do I apply that practically? Like, you know, I know what you're saying, but what does that really look like? And I have tons of experiences that I can just pull from and impart to people, you know, to just inspire them and encourage them.
Speaking of that pressure, being a married couple working together, have you laid out any ground rules for yourself to keep the peace? Keep things
Absolutely.
kosher?
Let's just stay together. No, I'm just playing.
The
Nah.
ground rules are we won't take it personal, we're going to take it
Take it
spiritual.
spiritual,
That's the
right.
ground rule.
Yeah.
Like, and really, you know, having been married for so long, having to go through life, you know, from 16 to now, 40 plus, we'll just keep it there. We've learned some things, you know.
And I would say, you know how we kind of use the term safe space? I can honestly say throughout the years, we've cultivated such a safe space. So it's kind of, I don't think I have to put parameters around her as far as what she can and can't do, and vice versa. I think
That's so true.
we're safe. You know, I know.
You're safe, baby. You feel safe.
Oh,
Oh my God, what did she put in my drink?
Oh, I love that. Well, who is this podcast for? Do you have a target audience, or are you hoping to reach?
I would say, because it's faith-driven, I would say faith-based, right, for sure. But I think anyone can get something from it, because we try to keep it very practical in nature. Definitely love having fun and a good time, because I think when we're together, it's always a good time, even in the fights.
Even
It's good
the
times.
arguments, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
good
Even well,
times.
not arguments, just spirited conversations.
Because we learn things.
Yeah.
That next time instead of spirited conversations.
discussions.
And because I don't like doing it, I already told her, I don't like a lot of edits. You know, if
Right.
something happens, you know,
And that happens, you know. You're gonna see some tears. You're gonna be some, oh my gosh, what just happened?
Right.
He's like, keep rolling. I'm like, no, God. He's like, no, we're being real here. So we are just praying that everybody across the board, no matter who you are, where you're from, that you come in and just check it out, and just hopefully you will find something that's gonna inspire you, encourage you, a little nugget that's like, wow, there's hope here. You know, there's restoration hopefully here. There's life here.
And also, I'm not crazy. You know, I'm
And
not
I'm
the
not-
only
and I'm
one
not
going through
alone,
this,
yeah.
right?
is that what you want people to take away from this when they listen? That someone else is relating to what they've experienced, and it's going to be okay.
100%.
Absolutely.
We're not talking at people.
Right.
A lot of the times we're sharing our own experiences because we understand that people don't like to be talked at too. I don't either, you know, but to let people know, no. We've been there, we understand it, and we're with you, and we want to encourage you and inspire you to let you know this isn't the end, or there's a better way.
Yeah, and oftentimes when I'm sitting across from people, especially couples, they'll start telling me their challenges as though they're expecting me to be shocked, and I'm like, yeah, like, welcome to the journey,
tracks,
right? Yeah.
Now, is the format going to be just the two of you talking about life? Are you interviewing other people? Are you counseling couples on the podcast? Like, what's the format?
Well, it's us, and then we do have guests. So depending on what the theme or for the episode is, we'll probably bring in like an expert. We've had some people, so far one other person to come on and talk about his experiences. But we don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be fun.
It's fun, yeah.
Yeah.
It's deep, but it's fun.
Yeah.
How often can people expect new episodes? We've got a QR code on the screen where folks can actually go to the Spotify page, and you can find them a lot of places. But how often will we get these?
So it'll drop every Wednesday, once a week.
As long as we can stay together.
As long as we can make it work.
Yeah.
So far, 32 years
man.
and counting. So hopefully we can keep
It's
it
not
moving.
personal, it's spiritual.
Oh, there's it is. See?
Every Wednesday, is there a time, middle of the day? does it drop at the beginning?
It just drops at the beginning of the day.
day.
So
Okay,
you just plug in and like it's Wednesday. Where are they?
Great.
And you can find us on anywhere where you find podcasts. You know, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and yes, so it's video and audio as well.
I just feel compelled to ask you this question, and anything else you want to add, but what is your favorite love story? Be it in the Bible, be it in a movie, be it in reality. Is there one that you think that inspires you? Or maybe there are a few that
question.
inspire you, know, as you go through.
You want to go, Amiga?
No, you go.
I would say our love story because I know.
Like, give me some.
That's right.
So good.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, because I know that it's real, and I know the challenges that we faced and still face. So yeah, I would say ours.
I'd have to agree because even when you look at other people's stories, there's nothing like living ours and seeing where we are now from where we started. I mean, 16 years old to you just can't, there's so much to talk about, you know what I mean? From dreaming, just really quickly dreaming, and then, I remember being in my bedroom and, talking on the phone with him and like, I can't wait till we're grown and we get to be married and have our own place and we can do what we want to do, you know what I mean? And to look at now and it's like, oh my gosh, we are actually living that in a way that we didn't even think we would or could,
Because of the greatest love story, right?
Right, because of what God
us.
did,
Yeah, so that's
and
what
so
empowers
our
us.
faith, the endurance that our faith has given us, like there's no way we would have made it without it. So that's why when people tune into the podcast, they're gonna know it's organic and it's real because we're living it and and it's true to who we are through and through.
Well, you've already inspired us here today.
Oh,
the
yes!
energy, if
Thank
you were in the
you.
room, and you just feel it. They are magnetic, and I'm so excited for your podcast. We both are.
Most definitely. The charisma's off the charts. I got to tell you, Indy and Brig, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us.
A great uplifting podcast. Again, the QR code to learn more and listen to the teaser trailer for It Ain't Personal, It's Spiritual. We'll be right back.